The trade post was loud with barter. Creaking stalls of salvaged metal lined the dirt square, their awnings patched with alien fabrics and plastic sheets from long-forgotten ships. Voices rose in dozens of tongues, clipped human trade speak, guttural growls of reptilian merchants, the soft whine of insectoid haggling. The air was thick with dust, smoke, and hunger, and through it all walked Sera. Her skin shimmered faint blue in the harsh sun, her frame thin from long months of foraging and running. She clutched her daughter's hand, tiny, fragile, no more than 4 seasons old. Little Rynn stumbled beside her, her breath shallow. Her fever had burned through the night, leaving her lips cracked and her small body trembling. Sera's heart ached with every step. She had nothing left. Her people, scattered, enslaved, erased when the raiders came. Her mate, cut down when he'd stood in the doorway, weapon in hand. Their home, burned to cinders. All she had managed to keep was Rynn, and one possession she had never given up. A pendant. A simple stone of deep green, strung on a cord of woven silver fibers. It had been her mother's and her mother's before. It was the last piece of her world she had left. But now Rynn needed medicine. And medicine cost more than dust and tears. The healer's stalls smelled of herbs and ash. An old man, human, leaned back in his chair, staring at the little alien girl with a calculating eye. His beard was gray, his sleeves stained with tinctures. "She's burning inside," he muttered. "Fever this strong needs real cure. Synth blood and nanogel. Not cheap." Sera bowed her head. "I can work. Clean your floors. Chop wood. Anything." The man shook his head. "Work won't cover this. Payment or she dies." Her throat tightened. "Please. I beg you, she is all I have." The man's eyes flicked to the cord around her neck. "The pendant." "That," he said simply. "That will do." Her hand flew to her chest, clutching the stone. She felt its familiar weight, the cool surface against her trembling fingers. Her mother's voice echoed in memory. "This stone has seen generations, Sera. It carries our line." To give it away was to cut her last tie to who she was. But Rynn whimpered softly in her arms, her fevered head resting on Sera's shoulder. The sound tore through her soul. With shaking hands, Sera untied the cord. For a moment, she stared at the stone, her reflection trembling in its polished surface. Then she laid it on the table. "Take it," she whispered. "Just save her." The old man pocketed the pendant without a word. He prepared a syringe of clear liquid, pressed it into Rynn's small arm, then applied the gel along her neck. The child stirred, her breathing easing almost immediately. Sera held her close, relief flooding her body. She kissed Rynn's hair, tears soaking her daughter's tangled locks. But her neck felt unbearably bare. She had nothing now. Nothing at all. Night fell heavy on the outpost. Sera sat against a wall, cradling Rynn, watching the stars peek through broken roofs. Other refugees huddled in corners, their eyes hollow, their voices whispers. She felt eyes on her. From across the square, a human soldier in dull gray armor stood watching. His helmet was clipped to his belt, revealing tired but steady features. He had seen what she'd done. He had seen her give up the last of herself. He approached, kneeling carefully. "She's stable now." Sera stiffened. She had learned not to trust, but she nodded. "I'm Commander Hale," he said softly. "Human Relief Corps. We're here to keep peace and help when we can." Her gaze was wary. "Help comes with price." His lips pressed thin. "Too often, yes. But I saw what you did. Giving that up." He glanced at her empty neck. "That was no small thing." Sera looked away, stroking her daughter's hair. She is my world. I will give everything, and I have nothing left to give." For a moment, there was silence between them. Then Hale reached into his pack and pulled something out. A small patch of cloth. Blue and gold insignia, frayed but intact. "This was my brother's," he said. "He didn't make it home from the war. It's all I carried of him. I thought I'd never part with it." He gently placed it in her hand. "But maybe it's time it gives someone else strength."
She stared at it, shocked. "Why?"
"Because no one should feel like they've lost everything," he said simply. "Especially not when they're still fighting." Her hands trembled as she held the patch. Not the pendant, not her family's legacy, but something offered freely, not taken. And somehow it mattered. The next days were brighter. Rynn's fever broke. She laughed again, chasing shadows in the dusty square. Sera watched her, fragile relief washing over her every time the little girl smiled. Hale checked on them often. Sometimes he brought food packets, sometimes water, sometimes only conversation. He never pressed, never demanded. He only reminded her, through his presence, that perhaps she was not as alone as she believed. But each night, when Sera touched the empty space at her throat, her heart ached.
She had saved Rynn, yes.
But the price haunted her. Who was she now, without that pendant? Just another broken refugee, nameless and lost? One evening, as they shared firelight with other survivors, Rynn tugged at her arm. "Mother," she whispered, "you still have me." Sera blinked, stunned. The child's eyes shone with innocence, but also with wisdom beyond her years. "I am your line now. I carry you." Tears welled in Sera's eyes. She pulled Rynn close, clutching her. "Yes, little star, you are." The raiders returned at dawn. Engines roared as gunships descended, scattering dust and screams. Panic tore through the trade post. Merchants fled. Refugees dove for cover. The raiders, the same kind who had destroyed Sera's home, stormed the square. Sera froze, clutching Rynn. Not again. She couldn't lose her again. Hale shouted orders, rallying his squad. Gunfire split the air. Explosions rocked the ground. One raider broke from the pack, towering, armored, blade in hand. He charged toward the huddled mother and child. Sera stood, shielding Rynn with her body. Her arms trembled, her eyes wide, but she did not move. Hale's rifle cracked. The raider fell inches from her, the ground trembling as his body hit. Smoke and fire filled the square. Hale rushed to them, voice urgent. "Run. Get to cover." But Sera shook her head.
"No,
not this time. I will not run. Not again." Something inside her had changed. Stripped of possessions, stripped of her past, she had only one thing left, her will. And that was unbreakable. The battle raged, then ended. The raiders fell or fled, leaving smoke in their wake. The outpost was scarred but alive. Sera knelt with Rynn in her arms, both trembling but safe. Hale approached, sweat and dust streaking his face. He crouched, resting a hand on her shoulder. "You stood your ground," he said. "That takes more than strength. That takes heart." She looked up at him, weary but unbowed. "They took everything. I thought I was nothing. But I see now I still have her. And myself. That is enough." Hale nodded, respect in his eyes. More than enough. That night, under the stars, Sera whispered to her daughter, "I gave away my last possession. I thought it meant I was empty. But the truth is you are my treasure, Rynn. And as long as I breathe, I will never be nothing." Rynn smiled sleepily, curling against her mother. "And I will carry you, Mama. Always."